Hi and welcome to the ship tour for the Lefka Ori, one of the superfast ferries from Athens to the islands. It actually used to be a Blue Star ferry but has been taken over now by Superfast. And in this video we're going to give you the full ship tour. We're going to be looking at how to get on, the restaurants, the cafes, the main dining rooms, the seating areas, the cabins, the outside areas, the swimming pool that has no water, and the casino that has nothing in it but seats. So one of the first things we did after dropping the luggage off in the cabin was we went outside. Our cabin was literally next to the two main doors that you can see there. That's our cabin right there. And it has seats underneath, which was really useful because people used to sit there and talk. Luckily not into the night, but it was a bit of a surprise when you open the window and you see the back of some people's heads. The outside area is kind of what you expect from a ferry. It doesn't have bars or shuffleboard or anything like that. It's not a cruise ship, it is a ferry, a working boat. But it does have great views, just like every other cruise ship that you can see in this video. So there's a Silver Sea boat over there that you're looking at, which costs 20,000 for a week or something like that, and it has the same views that you're looking at. And just around the corner, which got me overly excited, was I think the Resilient Lady, who was in Athens as well, and that's probably going to be our next cruise. Can't go around. But that probably going to be one of our next cruises. That's a Virgin boat. Yeah. I don't know which one. Oh, I do. Resilient Lady. These are all life rafts. So as you head to the back of the ship, you'll come across the pool bar. Now, this has much better views than the sides because there's no big life rafts blocking the way. And it even has a swimming pool, but you may have noticed that something's missing. Swimming pools on ferries very rarely have water in them. They're from the past of the boat when it used to be more of a cruise ship. But the views are excellent. And the views over Athens, even though it's Piraeus, which is not perhaps the most pretty of ports, you can still see all the other cruise ships. And when you're sailing, you can still see the wake. Yeah. It's actually quite deep. It's actually quite a deep swimming pool. Both the upstairs and the downstairs where the pool bar is are also areas where you can smoke, though it did look like basically anywhere outside, if you want to have a cigarette, that's where you go. So this deck leads straight up to the swimming pool again, as you can see. Swimming pool, I was just told, is never open there. Also, I'm not randomly videoing the floor here. I was waiting for the dog to walk past because on these ferries you can take your dogs. And though you may not have the big cabin, you may not have the 9 different restaurants or the all-inclusive drinks package, you do still, as I said, have the views from the ship. And these are the same views that you'll get from any cruise line. So when you're leaving port, I would highly recommend that you go outside and check it out. I will say that one of the things that the cruise ship you're looking at now had that we definitely didn't was clearly a sail away party. I think they're leaving about an hour later, and you could hear the music from where we are taking this video, and you can even see the people dancing on top of it. We didn't have any music and we didn't have any people dancing. It's going to be a little noisy walking past the engines, but we're going to head and see the sunset, see if it's actually any good on the back of It's a Lefka, wow, look into the engine. A Lefka Ori. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Let's check it out. Now you don't get this sort of view on a plane, do you? We will speed up the sunset though. I'm sure you've seen many of them, and we want to check out the restaurant options as well. So we'll start off in the self-service restaurant. This is on deck 7. In fact, all the eating options are on deck 7. And it is a little bit like a school canteen. You pick your table and then you go up and queue with a tray, and you can pick from the display any food you want. A lot of Greek salads, a lot of hot food with meat and sauce. And it's all priced about, well, between €6 to about 14 or 15 euros for the more elaborate dinner, shall we say. It is cheaper than the main dining room, but it is a little bit more casual, shall we say. The other seated option on the ship is the main dining room. Now the main dining room is a little bit more upmarket in that it has a menu and it has tablecloths, so you can actually sit and have a proper dinner. Now we put the menu on here. We didn't eat in here, we actually ate at the cafe, but we put the menu on so you can check out. It's a little bit more expensive, starting probably about 12 euros going to about 20. But if you fancy something a little bit more upmarket, this is your place. We actually ate at the cafe. Now the cafe, which you can see here, is in the middle of the seating area, and if you don't book a cabin or you don't book an airline seat, this is where you can grab a chair and spend your journey. Now just a quick word of warning, the prices on board are a little bit expensive for what you get anyway, but most Greek ferries have a regulated pricing system where they have to have some items for a reasonable price. And on this boat, as you can see on the menu, I hope if you have a big screen, it'll have things like coffee or sandwiches. And we actually got one of the sandwiches. Now it wasn't the best sandwich. It was this sandwich. And this sandwich was a ham and cheese and the spinach pie. Spinach pie was actually very good. The ham and cheese sandwich, when I open it, you can kind of see that, well, I say it in the video what it was. It is a ham and cheese sandwich. The other option, apart from the shop, is past the purser's office and past the reception and past the not a casino. There's a sign on the wall saying casino, but actually now it's a seating area with comfier seats. So if you haven't got a cabin, try and get in here quick. But it's the Mariner's Bar. And this is where we had a couple of beers, and it was actually very pleasant at night. Met a lovely bartender who we got chatting to. And this is at the front of the ship on deck 7, and just outside there is a smoking area as well. But you can sit at the bar, which is what we did. They do have little chips with you when you order a beer, and they've got some cakes and things to buy if you want them. As we said, it's open all night. You want another one already? There's also a shop on board that opens about 7:30 after the boat is set off. We set off at 6. They will sell things like chocolate, usually the big bars like you get in airports, fairly reasonably priced actually, wasn't too bad. And they'll sell books and alcohol and hats for some reason. But if you just want to grab a snack, you can do it here before you head to your seat or your cabin. Now we booked a cabin, which we'll show you later on in the video, but there are kind of 3 options you've got. You've got these sort of seats, which are next to the cafe. These seats are comfy enough, especially if you can get yourself a sofa and kind of claim it as your own, which plenty of people did, but you're going to have to get on early to do that. If you want to pay a bit extra, and it seems to be quite a bit extra, you can reserve one of these airline seats. Now, they didn't seem very full, so I'm not sure if people check these tickets or not, but it's always worth, everyone loves a trier, and you could try to get one of these seats instead. These do recline, so it's going to give you a comfier night, but unlike some airline seats, these armrests don't move, so we did see people just sleeping on the floor there. If you want to do what we did actually go and get a cabin, and there's some cabins on deck 7 and deck 8. Oh, there is one more seating option. It's the children's TV room, which you can just lie in like that guy was there. So what we did book a cabin. It was okay. We actually booked a double bed cabin, but I think they changed the ship at the last minute, and we ended up with the family room. But for the sake of one night, it didn't matter, and we didn't kick up a fuss. Okay, just want to give you a quick tour of cabin 455 on the Lefka Ori, if I've said that correctly. For some reason, it looks like we're in the kids' room. But let's take a look. Now, we just got off the Explorer 1, which was a little different, but considerably more expensive. And we're heading to Kos from Athens. And this is going to be the quick, because it's not much, quick room tour. What you've got is a decent enough sized place to hang up your laundry, your clothes, with 4 hangers to be fair, and some ladders so you can put the kids upstairs if you want this as a family room. Maybe we booked a family room. We've put the luggage, just as a tip, flat, because this is a considerably faster boat. It's called a Superfast Ferry than a normal cruise ship, so if it is a little wavy, I don't want to have those rolling out and blocking this door. And there's the name just to confirm, the Lefka Ori. Now, the cabin's not very big, but it has 4 decent sized singles, to be honest with you, and it has a mirror, hello, and somewhere you can put your luggage, a bin, and there's our other case just in case it is wavy, like we say. I would imagine that we can put these beds up, but we're only on it for one night, so we won't bother. They're fairly firm, which for us is pretty good. I imagine the pillow's a little soft for us, but that doesn't really matter. It has a night light underneath. Let's see if they actually work. Yes. And it has, I have no idea what program selector is. Possibly, I don't know, sound or aircon. Volume controller, I'm guessing maybe music's piped in. Another light switch, let's see what that one does. That's the main cabin lights. Oh, okay. Have I just broke them? No. So you can actually turn the lights off in bed, which is a nice touch. A phone, no idea who you're going to phone, and a power outlet. Pretty useful, to be fair with you. And then another night light under there. It looks like even the top bunks, oh yeah, they have a night light as well. I'll show you the view. I'll just close the curtains because the light was shining in and the camera struggles when there's massive light. So let it adjust a second and give you a quick view. We got the lifeboat and what looks like a promenade deck because my wife just knocked on the window to say hello and scared me. There she is. So I'll close the window again just so we can get the rest of the cabin. And you can take a look from this side. So it's not bad. One night going to Kos, what more do you want? Cost us, I'll put these details in the end and probably in the description, but it cost us about 280 euros for the ferry ticket, obviously, and then for the cabin on top. I think the cabin was 130 and then the trip was, I guess, 60, whatever that works out, 60 each, something like that. Which is not too bad because we looked at the flights and the flights were about 120 euros each, obviously much quicker, but this saves on a hotel. And you get to go on your little mini cruise as well, because I'll give you the boat tour in another video, but it looks like it has a swimming pool, a casino and a couple of restaurants, which would be quite cool to check out. And again, not really compare, but at least see what the differences are between that and the Explorer 1, which we got off a couple of days ago. Now it does have a bathroom with a light switch and another power socket. Not 100% certain why it's in the middle of the wall, but there it is. And this is why I think it might be the kids' bedroom, or family room at least. And you've got a toilet, fairly reasonable size. Again, it's a ferry, not a cruise ship. A couple of towels, and we also have a couple more towels on the beds outside. And we have Me, hello, looking a bit hot and burnt. Decent mirror, looks clean. A couple of drinking glasses, some soaps. Toilet, again, clean. And a mini shower with a curtain that is going to stick to you, but you know, you're only going to use it once or twice, so that doesn't really matter. So that's the room tour on the Lefka Ori. And we didn't spot one on YouTube because we didn't actually think we were getting this boat. It was going to be called the Asterion 2 or something. And then when I checked the ticket, they'd either changed it for some reason, or I don't know how Greek ferries work. And we ended up on this one. And on YouTube, I couldn't, doesn't mean there isn't one, but I couldn't see a video that showed you the ship. So hopefully this is going to be useful to some of you out there. If it is, please give us a like and a subscribe if you can, because we are a new channel and we're trying to grow a little bit. Now, as I mentioned in the cabin tour, we just got off a cruise ship, a pretty good cruise ship at that, called Explorer 1. This wasn't like that, but it was still quite fun actually. It was a little, they don't have the wind blocks that a cruise ship has, so it's actually a bit more adventurous walking down towards the pool bar, which is at the back of the ship. It's also a lot noisier because the engines are actually basically right next to the cabins. You can't hear them in the cabin, but you can hear them when you're outside. And it does have obstructed views, as they would call it in the cruise industry. But if you do go outside, you can still see the Greek islands going past. That one is Mykonos. The pool bar is also open pretty late. One of the advantages of going by ferry and not by plane, of course, is if you get up early enough or you're traveling for long enough, you will get to see the gorgeous sunrise over the Greek islands. Well, good morning from Leros. Just leaving now. We got in here about 10 minutes ago, and these ferries don't hang about, so if you are getting off, make sure you're ready to go. We've got a couple of hours till we get to Kos, and we'll show you as much as we can of how to get off the boat and where it comes in Kos town. Now, as I quickly mentioned when I was in the cabin, these boats do not stay in port very long, so make sure you're ready, and also be aware that the escalator that goes up when you get on does not go down, so you will have to carry your own luggage down those stairs, just to be prepared for that. And once you're off, you're off. You haven't crossed any borders, so there's no passport control. You can just potter out to the port, and if you're in Kos like we were, you can walk around the castle to the harbour and to your hotel. So that's our ship tour of the Lefka Ori, one of the ferries from Athens that goes to the islands. If it's been useful, don't forget to hit that like button down there. It really does help us out. And we would definitely do this again. In fact, we will definitely do this again. The ferries are a great way to see the islands, and they don't all have to be big ones like this. You can actually island hop quite easily, which we have videos on the channel, so definitely check those out. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.